Here we go, people. We are back at you guys once again with another movie review.
Hell yeah, it's showtime again.
Yes, we are back. This time around, guys, we're going to be doing a review on the 1986 movie Cobra, starring Sylvester Stallone.
Hell yeah.
Which is a fucking cool movie, man, because there's some good dialogue in that bad boy. Not only are we going to be talking about the movie, we're going to be going over some cool things that I noticed on Wikipedia, like some of the casting and behind the scenes stuff as well. So we're going to be all over the place with this. Let's see. Cobra is a 1986 American action film directed by George P. Cosmatos and written by Sylvester Stallone. This is a pretty dark, cop movie going after these fucking crazy gang, man.
Oh yeah. We killed the weak so the strong survive.
Right. So this movie was released May 23rd, 1986. It has a running time of 89 minutes, so it's an hour and a half. The budget of this film was $25 million, and it made the box office worldwide was $160 million. So it made money.
Oh yeah,
which is pretty cool.
It was a great ass movie, dude. I mean, it had everything. Like, it had great action,
some great dialogue. Yeah.
I mean, it was an intense movie.
Yeah. And it had Bridget Nelson in it, and Brian Thompson killed it with this movie, man. He is the ultimate, killer.
Yeah.
You know.
He was the perfect fit for that role.
Well, I know. I can see why they casted him, man. He had the right look.
He just had that look,
Right.
Like, if you did not know this guy,
right, you don't want to be around him.
If you crossed him in a dark alley, you'd just be like,
nope.
Oh shit.
Yeah, fuck this. The way he looked and had that big ass cool knife.
Yeah, that like I said, it wasn't just a knife. It was like a knife with brass knuckles. That way.
Well, it was spiked knuckles.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's why when he was fighting Stallone, he never lost the knife, because it would stay.
Right. That is, I find that interesting, because usually when you see a knife fight, usually the bad guy or the good guy will drop the knife at some point and they just duke it out. But in the end fight scene between Stallone and Brian Thompson, he always has that knife the whole time.
Yeah,
even as he got hooked on that fucking thing,
That knife was scary looking, man.
Yeah.
You notice in the movie, when he would go to, when he was killing somebody, you notice you never see him kill him. You see, the knife coming towards him, the chick, screaming, and you just hear that.
Right,
sound,
right. Because he's like this night killer, man. Him and his crew.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. They call themselves the Hunters.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over the plot a little bit here. I mean, it starts off with a mass shooting at a supermarket in Los Angeles that involves into a hostage crisis. So this crazy guy goes in there with a shotgun, shooting up the fruit and all that. And he also has a bomb in his hand.
Yeah, and he's demanding, he's demanding cameras and news reporters.
Right. What I found was kind of odd is there's one bad guy that goes in there, right, and they call in all these fucking cops. There's a whole boatload of cops, and I think SWAT team as well. And I'm thinking, wow, all this for just this one guy?
Well, I mean, that's your typical movies.
Right.
How many movies have you seen where you'll see one person involved, and you see mass fulls of cops? Really, y'all need 50.
Right? Yeah, they must have had somewhere around there. But what's cool is that at one point the bad guy tells one of the guys, he picks him up. It's like, you're free, go.
Yeah, he turns and walk away. Doesn't he like shoot him or something?
Yeah, well, he starts to walk away, and then at some point he starts to run, and then he guns him down with that shotgun.
Yeah.
And then one of the cops, like the head cop or whatever, tells the other guy to call in the Cobra.
Yeah.
That's when Stallone comes in with his awesome ass car.
Yeah, it was a 1950 Mercury, like custom car, like.
Right.
I remember that thing when you see it, like him show up with that car. It's like, damn, that's a badass ride.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, according to Wikipedia here, it says. Where's it at? The custom 1950 Mercury driven by Cobra was actually owned by Stallone.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That was his ride at the time.
It just, you know what though? It just sucked. It was such a cool car, and then, later on in the movie when they have the chase scene and, the big shootout scene and all that stuff, like the car gets fucked up basically. And
yeah, well, I'm sure they made a couple extra cars. They didn't actually mess up Stallone's real car.
It was still sad, but
yeah,
but that car, that chase scene, like for a big old school car like that,
right?
Just like to be like, remember he even had like nitrous on it at one, like
yeah.
where he hit the damn nitrous button and he just
right. And it dropped the thermometer where he went flying.
Yeah.
And as far as that knife goes, it says here the knife used by the Night Slasher was made for the film by a designer named Herman, and Stallone asked Herman to create a knife that audiences would never forget, which I think they pulled off.
Yeah, that knife. It was really cool looking.
It's cool looking, man, intense. And Brian Thompson's character in that film was fucking intense, on edge, man. Pure evil. Yeah. The dialogue they gave him at the end of the film was fantastic. Where he's like, I want your eyes, pig. I want them. Right. You want to go to hell?
Yeah. The way he says when he's like, when he says you want to go to hell, it's just like he says it like, you want to go to hell?
You want to go to hell with me? It's like, doesn't really matter, does it? We are the future, something like that. We kill the weak so the strong survive. It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Even the guy in the grocery store was even saying that, like, he's like, it's the way of the new world.
Right. It's crazy. Also, as far as casting goes, Brian Thompson auditioned 7 times before he was hired. And it says on the 4th audition, he met Stallone, who thought that Thompson was too nice to play the Night Slasher, but after a screen test, he immediately got the job.
Yeah, because it's like once you've seen him in that role,
right? Then you're like, oh yeah.
You're like, dude, this guy is fucking perfect. Like,
right?
You remember Brian Thompson? He was actually had a part in the very first Terminator.
Yeah, he had a small part in the Terminator, and then Cobra was his next film, and that was actually his Terminator. I would say was his first movie, I believe, but it was such a small part. What did he say to Arnold? Wash day tomorrow.
Yeah, wash day tomorrow.
Nothing clean, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing clean.
Right. Yeah. Also, it says here, Thompson repeatedly sought Stallone's advice about how to play the Night Slasher, including questions about his background and his personal motivations, but Stallone showed no interest in the subject and told Thompson that the character was simply evil, which I agree. He was pretty evil.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that could go around doing what they were doing, just picking like these victims and
right, because they were like killing women.
Yeah,
at night.
One girl, remember, she was walking up to her car and they just like started.
They axed her fucking car, man.
Yeah, they smashed her windows and they grabbed it. Like, you see them grab a hold of her and Brian Thompson moving in with the knife and the chick's reaction, like
right.
the knife come at her, like
That's crazy. But yeah, they call in the Cobra. He goes in there. The guy shoots. He's fucking with him at first, throwing things around. And he's shooting it, close to him and whatnot. Finally, Stallone like breaks through a door, or opens a door, and the guy's kind of wigged out a little bit. He's telling Stallone, bring in the camera crew. He's like, I can't do that. And he's like, why not? Or he said, why? He says, I don't deal with psychos. That's fucking great.
The one cop said about him is like, it takes a maniac to catch a maniac.
Right. And I love the part where, as he's talking to this guy, he's like, he puts his gun away, but he's unfolding his knife, getting ready to throw it at him. And the guy tells him, I'm not a psycho, man. I'm a hero. He's like, I'm a fucking hunter. And he's like, no, you're the disease, and I'm the cure. And then he finally, at some point, the guy's like, die. And he goes to turn on him, and Stallone throws the knife into him and then pulls out his gun and just guns his ass down. Which was pretty cool, because the guy had a shotgun in one hand and he had like a bomb in the other. Which is crazy.
You remember after he killed the guy, one of the people outside was like chewing him out, like, really necessary. Didn't he? That guy, he had, that guy still had rights, and he unfolds the blanket over the kid that he killed.
Yeah, that he shot with a shotgun.
Yeah, and he's holding the guy, like, you tell that to his family, huh?
Right. Yeah. So in other words, even Stallone's character said this in the movie. These guys, they don't deal with rules. They're psychos. They do what they want. But I'm a cop, and I got to deal with rules. That's why they're always going to win.
Yeah, they're going to win because we have to play by the rules.
And they don't. But that changes during the movie because at some point he gets, like, I think, sick of the shit, man. And when they start shooting at his car, man, he just goes after them.
Yeah, they were picking up Bridget Nelson to take her to, like,
a safe place.
The hiding or whatever.
Right. But even before that, though, as Brian Thompson's character is killing these women, and he and his crew, which one of them is his girlfriend, which is also a bad cop.
Yeah.
And Bridget Nelson's character drives by after a murder, but she didn't see the murder, but she's seeing Brian Thompson's face.
Yeah, and they're like,
get the license plate.
So I was screaming like, get the license plate.
Right. So now they're after her.
Yeah.
And at one point, she didn't even know it. She just drove by, and, they should have just completely left her alone because she didn't really see anything.
No, she wasn't even going to report it.
Yeah,
like,
she had no idea. Yeah, she didn't think nothing of it. She was a little freaked out, but she just left, and she went on to her, what was it, like some sort of photo shoot.
Yeah.
So she wasn't even going to report it, but these guys were just determined to go after her. And as they do, they're killing cops and other people,
Yeah.
Right outside her job, too.
Remember at one point they go after her, she gets saved, and then she winds up in the hospital.
Right, they go after her in the hospital.
Yeah, and then Stallone, like, is back at his place, like, or something, and, he almost gets, like, attacked.
Well, yeah, because his partner's calling him. He's like, you wanted me to be here? And he's like, no.
He's like, get back to the hospital now. And he goes to leave, and...
Right, Stallone gets attacked by fucking a few of the hunters.
Yeah.
With an axe and shit. He ends up beating their asses and shooting them.
Yeah, the motherfuckers didn't use guns. Like, they use, like, axes and...
Right.
Like, deadly-ass weapons, man.
Right. Which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, that was a cool scene. So he ends up taking them out there, and she almost gets taken out at the hospital, but she ends up getting away and pulling this thing where all these people come out of their rooms in the hospital.
Yeah.
She sets off the fire alarm, I believe.
Yeah.
And
then Yeah, and then like I said later on, they're like, okay, we're gonna put her in hiding, and
Right.
this, and they go to take her, and they wind up attacking him again. This time, trying to gun him down in their cars and having a big chase
Oh yeah,
scene.
that's right. Yeah, there was a scene where Brian Thompson and one of the crew they drive by, and they
Yeah, and
shoot his car up a little bit, but also they rammed his partner's car so that he couldn't do nothing.
yeah. He was chasing Brian Thompson. There was a truck with like a camper shell that was also like part of it that was chasing them. And I remember at one point he's driving and he just like swings his car around with his
Right.
machine gun and starts firing his machine gun at the truck till the truck fucking
Yeah,
explodes.
which I don't think would happen in real life, but that's the
No,
movies.
yeah,
But it was a
no,
cool chase scene because
yeah,
at that point Stallone was like, I felt like, all right, fuck it, I'm on their level. I'm gonna go at their level now,
yeah.
which
And remember,
freaked that one guy out.
yeah, the guy driving, he's like pulling up beside him. He's like, hey, he's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah, and these killers are calling, Stallone's character crazy.
Yeah, and I thought
Yeah,
that was the funniest thing. Like these sick killers, supposed to be like the way of the new world, and kill the
right.
weak, the strong survive.
Yeah,
They have the gall to call fucking Stallone crazy.
right. Also, there's another scene in the movie that we forgot about. When he pulls up to his, I think his apartment
Oh
homes,
yeah,
the
talking about the
Mexicans.
yeah. He's like parked in his spot, and he's like, hey, whatever, and he goes
Right.
up and pushes their car.
Yeah, yeah. He pushes their car up, and the guy's like, "Hey, what the hell?" He's like, "You got a bad attitude," and he grabs his cigarette
Yeah,
out
he
of his
puts
hand and rips
like
his
that,
shirt.
and rips his shirt, and he's just like, what? And the guy's like, like waits for him to walk off. He turns around, like kicks his tire of his
Yeah,
car, like, "Hey,
kicks
whatever,
the
man."
rim of his tire, which I thought was like, "What the fuck?"
And then you
Interesting
remember
scene.
later, Stallone pulls up again and just honks
Yeah,
the horn, and the guy,
yeah. This time they move ahead. Yeah, they didn't want no more trouble with him, and then they're
no,
like, hey, we got your spot for you or something like that, and he says, "You're a good
yeah,
citizen."
hey, we're saving your spot for you, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene. It's
Yeah,
always funny in a movie when they put like a comedy piece like that, and
yeah,
to break up all the action, like
yeah.
something.
It's cool to have some side pieces like that.
Yeah, like
I enjoy stuff like that.
yeah, it's like it breaks up all the action. Like you get a little funny bit, and you're like, oh man, that's funny. All right, back to
Yeah,
the action.
yeah. Also, there's another thing I wanted to mention on Wikipedia here because there's a couple different versions. They said the first rough cut was actually over 2 hours long. It was like 2 hours and 10 minutes, and then it
Damn.
was shortened to 2 hours. So there is a director's cut out there, which was going to actually be released in theaters. But it says, however, after Top Gun became a smash hit, Stallone and Warner Brothers were worried that Cobra, which would premiere the following week, would be overshadowed.
Oh damn.
So in order to ensure at least one extra screening each day, the movie was heavily re-edited. It says Stallone removed much of the plot and scenes involving characters other than his own.
Of
Of
course.
course, yeah, you can't cut out the star. It says Warner Brothers also demanded that more graphic scenes be cut down or removed completely because they were too intense,
Yeah,
and that some action scenes be cut for pacing.
yeah.
It says there's an extended television version of the film that's 6 minutes longer than the theatrical release. I don't think I've seen the television version, but I would love to see this director's cut one day.
I would too.
I want to see all this extra footage. It also says when first submitted to the MPAA, the film received an X rating, so it had to be cut down even more. I hate when they do that with movies.
Yeah.
Movies always get edited way down a lot of times. It's like, damn, the movie is kind of short. It's only 89 minutes, and here there's a 2 hour and 10 minute director's cut.
Yeah, that's like
That's
over
well,
40 extra
that's like
minutes.
40 minutes longer. I want to see that. You know,
I would
I
too.
want to see longer version. You know, these days.
Anybody out there that's got a copy of that, send it our way.
Yeah, yeah, that's in the vaults of Warner Brothers.
Well,
I would love to see this director's cut. I mean, it was obviously made and it came close to going to the theaters, so obviously it's complete. So all they got to do is release it. You know, Warner Brothers can just easily go in and probably remaster it and release it.
yeah.
You know, they do that with films every now and then. You'll see a director's cut. They got the Richard Donner cut when they did Superman 2.
Yeah.
You know, so why, you know, I don't see why they couldn't do a Cobra director's cut. You know, it's already done.
Maybe one day they will. Who knows?
Yeah. But anyways, at some point they go to where do they go to? A bunch of apartments or whatever for the night, and then the bad lady cop is with them.
Yeah.
So she's telling them exactly where they are and shit.
Yeah.
I like the part where when they find out who she is, and the guy, his partner's like, "I never liked that bitch." He's like, "Yeah, me too."
Yeah, it's
Me
like
either.
around the corner, they see her like going up and in cahoots with them, like pointing, like they're in there, and like,
Yeah.
man, I never liked that bitch.
Yeah, and even before that, before they take that area over, they go into like the cops' buildings and take out the cops so that they can't come out and stop the shit. You know, which is crazy. Yeah, it was a short scene, but yeah, they, you know, in that city they stopped the cops.
Yeah, it's
You know,
like,
and all that. So it was a hell of a gang too, because
ain't nobody coming to stop this shit. Like this has happened. Like
this is going to happen. So his partner's in one room while him and Bridget Nelson's in another room, and they start coming, you know, and shooting up the place, and
they start taking them out like one after another.
Stallone's he's getting his guns ready and all that, and ready to fucking kill these guys, and sure enough he does. Not only does he shooting these guys, he's throwing fucking grenades at these guys. Motorcycles and shit.
I remember that his partner winds up getting shot.
Yeah, but he survives.
Yeah, I was saying he survives, but he kind of gets taken out of the equation.
Right, at that area, right. At some point, you know, Stallone's shooting those guys up, a fire is going on, and he jumps in the back of the truck while she drives off, and they're chasing him with motorcycles, and he's shooting the shit out of them. At some point, they have this, like, fire across the street with trucks, and she's like, what do I do? And Stallone's like, go through it. Yeah. Which he did, so they were blocking off areas so that they could try and actually get him. They were trying pretty hard too, because he had a big group of dudes.
They smashed through that barricade, but man, when you see the front end of the truck afterwards, like, dude, they fucked that truck up.
Yeah, they messed it up big time.
And it sucked too, because that was a cool old school Dodge pickup truck.
Yeah. Yeah, his car also got really wrecked too during that one shootout. Man, it was I bet you, because of that scene with Cobra, with the car scene, he probably wanted to do that again with Expendables with the truck, you know.
Yeah, that's why, if you notice, he chose a
truck this time, an old school truck instead of a car.
Yeah,
which is cool, because I love that scene as well in Expendables.
Stallone always got to drive some cool shit in all of his movies.
I'm sure he's got some cool cars too in real life.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's shooting up people. They finally end up through a field, which
they're going to like the ones up going to like a fucking like boiler room or some shit.
Right. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it gets down to like, I think what was it? It was like Brian Thompson, one guy, and I think the chick was like got down to, and
it was a few people. Yeah, but he was taking them out like a hornet's nest. They end up, it says a steel mill.
Oh, okay.
And they the bad cop, which is the girlfriend of Brian Thompson, ends up jumping on Stallone's back, but he churns her and gets shot by Brian Thompson.
Yeah.
You know, which at that point, well, even before that, he was saying that cool ass dialogue. You know, hey, you want to go to hell, pig?
Yeah, he's like, I want your eyes, pig.
Yeah.
I want them.
It doesn't really matter, does it? He says, we kill the weak so the strong survive. Which is some crazy ass dialogue, dude.
Yeah.
And when he says it, it's like you really believe this motherfucker.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, he calls him a pig at one point, and he just says it with like a deep like voice, like, you want it, pig.
Yeah, well, at one point he pulls a gun on him. He's got him at that point. He's like, you won't do it. He says something like, you're a cop and I have rights, don't I, pig?
Yeah, he's like, you gotta take me in. That's what you gotta do.
Right, and at that point Stone's like, no, this is where the law stops and I start. I was like, that's right, you're going to have to go on their level, otherwise they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
And then at that point, and then he's about ready to shoot him, but that bad cop girlfriend of his jumps on his back, and then she ends up getting shot, and then they end up like tussling, and Stallone is fighting him with a chain. You know, while he's swinging this crazy ass, awesome looking knife at his ass.
Yeah, like, you know, you can't, like you said, because it's got the knuckle things on it.
Right.
And that you're not going to just knock it out of his hand. Like, that thing is like totally attached to his hand in a way.
Pretty much. He has it the whole time during that knife fight. And they throw down for a little while, and, you know, he gets the shit beat out of him a little bit. And then at some point, he just takes his ass, brings him up in the air, and puts him on that big ass hook.
Yeah, and remember when like the way he screamed when he's like,
yeah. I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy to be hooked like that.
Yeah, not just to put him on that hook, but then he sends him into that fucking like fire or whatever.
Right, as the hook's going down, it goes through this fire area that cooks his ass. I'm like, man, that's the worst way to go.
And Stallone and Bridget Nelson are just standing there watching him fucking burn.
Yeah, he puts him on a large hook that drags him into a furnace, burning him alive.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
That's just like, wow, dude.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy way to go out, man.
And after it's over, the one guy that doesn't really like Stallone, I liked how he said at the end, he's like, well, you know, you did it your way. He's like, I wouldn't have done it, you know, that way. I would have been more civil or something like that. And I'm thinking, civil with a gang like that? Are you crazy?
Yeah, he says something, and then he's going to turn away, and he's like...
he's like, no hard feelings, right? He's like, oh, yeah. He goes to shake his hand, and he socks the guy. No hard feelings.
Yeah, I think he goes...
I'm just thinking... How are you going to be civil with a bunch of psychopaths? What are you going to do? Play them some music and say, chill out, guys, everything's going to be all right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on now. You're going to have to hit them at their level, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, take out the whole fucking nest. You know, then they end up riding away on a motorcycle.
Yeah, remember he sees his partner before getting hauled off on a gurney. He's like, you need me to bring you things? He's like, yeah. I would absolutely kill for some gummy bears.
Yeah, because he was eating junk food throughout the movie here and there. He liked sweets. And also,
remember you see him at one point, like, walking away from, like a candy machine, and he just got his arms, like, full, like, yeah, how you doing?
Yeah. And I liked how he said, you know, the one cop says, if there's anything we could do for you, you know, let us know. And he's like, I would like my car fixed. He's like, sorry, it's not in the budget. I'm like, damn.
It's like he's screwed. He just, like, he lost that car, destroyed the truck that he had.
Right. Now he's got to take the motorcycle.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it. It's a motor and wheels.
Right. There was also another cool scene in the movie that we didn't talk about, where Brian Thompson goes to the hospital, and he's taking an elevator.
Yeah,
And the lady's telling him, "Hey, you can't. Next time take the stairs, huh?"
Yeah, she's like, next time take the stairs.
Right. Yeah. She's like, you maintenance guys can't be in here. This ain't for you. You got to take the stairs. And he's slowly pulling out the knife, and you're thinking, is he gonna gut her too? What the fuck? He's that crazy? He's just gonna kill her. It's like he really hated women, except for his own woman. Because at one time I noticed he was like wiping the knife against something, making it sharper.
Yeah.
And his wife came in, or his girlfriend or whatever, says, we gotta kill this girl, because she's gonna stop our plans and all this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was funny. He was in the elevator pretending to be, a maintenance guy or whatever.
Yeah, so he can get to her.
Just so he can get to Bridget Nielsen, and the lady's telling him, next time take the stairs. That's supposed to be. I was thinking. She don't even realize how close to death. Yeah, no shit. He didn't even say one fucking word to her either. I was just thinking, man, this is crazy. This dude's too intense.
Yeah, it's like that's the cool thing about him. Like he had such the look and the craziness that he didn't really have to talk much.
No, and the dialogue that they did give him in the movie was awesome. At the end.
Yeah, like I said, that dialogue scene at the end where he's like, "You want to go to hell with me, pig?"
Right.
And he's just like,
"We are the hunters." Yes. Yeah, that was some good stuff there. Good movie, and I definitely want to see the director's cut one day. Hopefully that gets released.
Yeah, come on, Warner Brothers, release that shit.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I hate seeing a good movie get edited down. It happens a lot, though, in films. A lot of times you'll see, like, a trailer for a movie. You'll see a bunch of scenes in the trailer, but you won't see it in the movie.
Yeah.
Like Tango and Cash. You see a lot of footage in that trailer that you do not see in the movie at all. And you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like that one movie we saw years ago called Kill Shot.
Oh,
you see the trailer of it, and it's just like...
There's footage in that with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, it's like Johnny Knoxville
is in the movie.
But then when you see the actual movie itself,
all his scenes get cut out.
Yeah, everything with him was cut out.
Yeah, ain't that something? I mean, it happens. There's been known actors over the years that they're well known, but their scenes get completely cut out.
Yeah,
like the Devil's Rejects. What's her name? Rosario Dawson. All her scenes cut out.
Yeah.
But ain't that something though?
This shit happens, man. Yeah. Like they either get cut out, or remember in some movies they even get like not even credited for them. Like you read the credits at the end, like Emilio Estevez in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
You look at the credits at the end, his name wasn't even in the credits.
Same thing with Chris Farley.
Yeah, Chris Farley in Dirty Work.
In Dirty Work, yeah. He had a good, cool cameo in that film.
Yeah.
But never got credited for it for some reason. So, I mean, that happens a lot in the editing room.
Street fighting man. G7. Oh, yeah. Just hit G8. If you like me to
Right. And I believe also at that time when they were doing Cobra, he was married to Bridget Nielsen because...
Yeah, they were either married or they were dating because...
Yeah. It says here they worked together, they divorced in 87, so yeah, they were probably married at that time.
Yeah.
And they also did, Rocky IV together, and then many, many, many years later, Creed II.
Yeah, which I thought having her back in Creed 2 was kind of retarded because she's only in like 2 scenes in Creed 2.
Right.
This where she talks to, them and like kind of like, getting respect back for them because it's like, oh, you're becoming a star again. I can love you again. And,
right, but it didn't happen. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how things go in movies. But yeah, Stallone was married to her for short time. That's why he put her in Rocky IV and Cobra.
Yeah.
And then she was also in Beverly Hills Cop 2, I believe.
Yeah. Dude, she played a badass role in Beverly Hills
Yeah.
Cop 2.
Yeah. I don't see her. I don't really see her in movies that much these days, here and there, like Creed 2. But
No.
I don't know what's going on with her.
She did that thing, wasn't she like Flavor Flav's girl?
Yeah,
Like,
right. She did a TV show with Flavor Flav, a reality show.
Flavor Flav.
Yeah. Then he did his own reality show called Flavor Flav, Flavor of Love, or something like that.
Yeah, like all those girls.
I actually did watch that many years ago, which is crazy. For the hell of it, because I had cable and I would just kick back and just.
I thought it was funny, Flavor Flav walking around with that big ass clock around his neck. Like, why the fuck you carry around a clock like that? Like, can you just wear a watch?
So at some point she was dating him, which is crazy. It's crazy how life goes. But all in all, my thoughts on Cobra: a solid, awesome '80s film.
Hell yeah, dude, one of the best.
And we have got. I'm hope one day Warner Brothers releases this director's cut. I would love to see this extra 30, 40 minutes of footage.
Like,
I think
what I liked about it, in that movie, you had it had all the bases covered. You had good ass action,
good dialogue,
good dialogue.
Oh yeah.
You had suspense scenes. You had comedy scenes. You
had some of these side scenes that were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you had cool ass vehicles.
Yeah. He's crazy. That's still
Killer's calling Stallone crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy.
He does something. But because in the beginning, Brian Thompson and his crew were off like killing women.
Well, I mean, not just killing women, but you hear the news reports saying that like they had different, like they wouldn't just tend to like one victim, like they would target like all kinds of people. Like he said, they were saying something like which include like the elderly, businessmen, and they said even at one case, sexually assaulted child.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why he was saying that we kill the weak so the strong survive.
Yeah, because they looked at people like that as like, the weak, like, the elderly.
Right.
But I wouldn't see how businessmen would be a damn.
I don't know, but also one thing we didn't talk about was when she did her photo shoots.
Yeah.
They came to her job.
And they took out that one, I forgot his name, but...
Yeah, it was like her manager or something.
Yeah, and he was...
I've seen him in other films, too.
Yeah, he had a TV show, too, like, called Sledge or something, where he had that, like, a talking gun or some shit.
Okay. Yeah, he does look familiar.
Yeah.
But he gets out there and taken out with a fucking axe.
Yeah.
And then another guy gets taken out who was just walking by. And then a cop, because she left her purse, upstairs, came down to give it back. And when the elevator opened, she's like, they're trying to get me. And he's pulling out a gun, shooting at him. And then they fucking drive this van right into him.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta be crazy. They really wanted her ass out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like typical... sit there because she's like a witness. She saw, so she knows him. Like,
she didn't see any murders. She just saw Brian Thompson's face.
Yeah, and they can't allow that. They can't allow that. She knows what Brian Thompson looks like.
Right, and they didn't like that. And they, it would have been better off for them just to leave her alone because she didn't have no plans on doing anything. But they really wanted to go after her big time. Which is crazy, but Stallone really wanted to go after them, but he was going by rules for a little while until there's like, no, man, I have to I have to really go after these guys on their level.
Yeah, he's like, if you want these this scum taken out, like, you got to take the, what do you call it? Take the restraints off, and
yeah,
like you said, get on a whole new level.
Yeah,
like
you have to go on their level.
Yeah,
and he sure did. He took the whole, like I said, the whole nest out, man. It's like a bee's nest or something, a hornet's nest, and he took the whole fucking nest out.
Oh yeah.
All in all, good movie. Yeah. I would consider it an '80s classic.
Me too.
And I think that's about it. I don't know what else to talk about this film. I think we're going to pretty much wrap this one up. Do you have anything else to say about the movie?
Not really. I mean, hell, we covered everything about it.
Yeah.
But like I said, good movie. Just
good casting, some good dialogue, and some cool scenes.
We're sad to see that car get fucked up, though.
Yeah, it got wasted.
Yeah, he ended up flipping it at the at the end of that chase scene.
Right.
And I was just like, man, come on, don't destroy the fucking car.
Yeah, it was nice. I like the old school rides like that, man. And beefed up, because at one point when he was shooting them and shit, he did have, I'm not sure if we talked about this, we had nitrous.
He winds up hitting fucking, like, you just see the speedometer just drop. Like,
yeah, you're just like, whoa. You know, he was flying in that car, man.
Yeah, I remember he had, like, when he was going after, he tells her, like, buckle up, and he, like, didn't just have, like, normal seat belts. He had, like, the full-on, like, racing harnesses.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And they buckled up, and they're like, oh, once they buckled up, it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's go time.
Oh, yeah. I just thought what was funny, like, he sprays nitrous, and he still couldn't keep up with that Brian Thompson, that guy in their fucking car.
Yeah, well, they were going all through all kinds of different areas. I think they were going through back alleys and shit.
Yeah, I remember that at one point they were just going over, like, fucking, like, these big-ass jumps, like, one after another deal.
You're just like, man, he's going to blow out shocks and everything. This car's going to be fucked
both
up.
the cars were fucking... I don't see how... It's funny, in the 80s movies, you see cars just get totally totaled out.
Right.
And they make them still think that they're still running and driving. Like, how is this car still running?
That's only in the movies. You know.
Yeah. It's like in the Blues Brothers, like, they put that car through so much hell. It's like, how is this fucking car still running?
It's crazy.
Like, you do something like that real life with a car, like, that car ain't running after that.
Right. Oh, here's another thing that I want to point out about Cobra, which is, it says Cobra was released generally to negative reviews, but has since become considered a cult classic.
Oh, yeah.
That happens from time to time. You know, when a movie comes out, at first, people are not really into it. Then years later, they're like, "Oh man, that's a classic."
Yeah, everybody goes back and watches it again, like, "Oh man, you know what? That was actually pretty freaking cool."
Right. So yeah, I mean, it happens.
A lot of movies got that kind of deal.
Yeah, when Blade Runner first came out, it didn't really make any great money at the box office, but it became an '80s classic years later.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, it just happens. You know, it's weird. You know, same thing with a couple of John Carpenter films. You know, like when Big Trouble in Little China came out, it didn't really make great money at the box office, but it definitely became a cult classic.
Yeah, that was another cool ass movie. I forgot about that movie.
Oh yeah. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I think we went on long enough with this review about Cobra.
Yeah.
You know, Sylvester Stallone. Good movie. It's getting a thumbs up for me for sure.
Definitely,
And,
me too, man.
Like I said before, one day I want to see that director's cut.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, if you're listening, put that shit out. We want to see it.
Which they're probably not listening.
Yeah.
I mean, why were they listening to? Well, you never know. You never know. But maybe one day we will get a director's cut, which that would be fantastic. You know,
that would be cool.
People like longer movies these days. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that if it does happen. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. We hope you enjoyed. And stay tuned because we like doing, reviews every now and then. So we'll be back for more before you know it.
We'll have another one up before you know it.
Yep. And that's
who knows what we'll talk about next.
Yeah. And that's it for now. We're out of here. And peace.